FA, I can't get the name anyway. Good evening, Osas, and good evening, FA Nubo. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. All right.
It's Frank.
Sir Frank, thank you for joining. Well, just as we kickstart, there were 19 people that actually got registered through email, and unfortunately, I believe as we proceed, they are going to join. But anyways, I'd like to welcome us to such conference. So before I proceed, just a little bit of housekeeping. This meeting is being recorded, so just in case, just so you know, actually the meeting is being recorded, and so the recording will be made available to those who maybe for one reason or the other could not make it. Okay, and also what inspires such conference over the past since 3 months ago is an ideology that tend to strengthen the development of the mind, the development of the mind. So we have some people who are joining, but then I'm just going to go straight to the point because I like keeping to time. And this is not just a conventional meeting. It's a meeting where I'm going to share some contemplations because I've been privileged to attend some conference, both at from last year, conferences from like, okay, if I were in Nigeria, I would say at that level. And then also I've attended some international conference in, let's say, for instance, in the UK and virtually in some other European countries too. So now the main topic for this edition of such conference is beyond borders. And then in a minute, I'm going to explain what inspired the topic and what am I expected to drive. Like those of us who are going to join, those who are joining, so what are you going to gain at the end of the day? So just so you know again, you can, if you feel comfortable, you can put on your camera, but whichever way, just ensure you can hear me. So if at any point in time you cannot hear, just but I know everything has been set up, and so now beyond borders. So the inspiration behind this topic is often at times a lot of people are limited based on their geographical location. So there's a tendency of them achieving less of all the full potential that they have. So now that is the idea behind it. So we have over time we've heard some motivational speakers, some men of influence. We've always heard them say that you can't go far beyond your mindset. So over time, people have argued that statement. But there's something so unique about the statement is because whatever you cannot conceive in your mind, in reality, if it comes to you, it's going to come as a shock. And people often find it very difficult for them to handle such things. For example, if you happen to just dive into, let's say, a breakthrough or an opportunity, if your mind is not ready for such an opportunity, you'll be surprised that you may not be able to get the most out of such, right? So in today's edition, I have written down some points that I like you to critically think about this point as we discuss how you can access opportunities irrespective of your geographical location, irrespective of wherever you are, right? Um, okay, somebody is asking record, someone should record for, oh yeah, the session is being recorded. So the session is being recorded, like I said before, right? So, right, so now as I talk about this topic beyond borders, I like to bring to our knowledge that before now, many of us may know or may not know that the world system economically or in all ramification works on a 7 mountain principle, right? So there's a 7 mountain of influence that the world works around. Now, I'll begin to start sharing my contemplation now, and then I hope that everything is fine. So whether you are in the academic world, the business world, whether you are in the media, wherever field you find yourself. So for instance, those of us from Africa, we were raised with a kind of mindset. The mindset was not actually given to us, but we grew up with that mindset that if you are able to go to school and then you're going to get a job and then things are just eventually going to work for you. But over time, in those days, it actually worked because people who happened to go to school and then they got a job, and then before you know what's happened, they could cater for their home. That was those days. That was when, speaking with present situation now, that was when a dollar was like 100 and something naira. That was when a pound was like 200 and something, right? So, but when you bring it to these contemporary times, you're going to discover that it doesn't really work. Then this makes some people to start bringing in some ideas. For instance, you hear somebody say school is a scam. Now, that idea didn't just come out of nowhere. It comes because people who went to school, like 80% or 50% of people who went to school, could not achieve what they were expected. So that inspired that idea that school is a scam. But if you really look at it, school isn't a scam. But because over time things have changed. So now we are in 2022, and then 2023 is going to come pretty soon. Things change, things metamorphose. So you have to have some certain tools in order for you to configure yourself in a proper place where you can take the most of your present situation, right? So I was talking about the 7 mountains. So I have listed them here that we have the first mountain, we have the mountain of religion. Now, across the globe, everyone is following someone, whether you like it or not. So the mountain of religion is such a powerful mountain. So when you break it down, we have the Christian religion, we have the Muslim religion, we have, if you check, there is over 100 and something religion across the world. So whether you like it or not, someone is following someone. So for those of us who are here, you could be a Christian. I know that some people who are Muslims have registered, but that's not the point I'm trying to point out. But what I'm saying is that the mountain of religion is such a powerful mountain, right? So that's the first mountain we have. We also have the mountain of family. We have the mountain of family. We have, I'm not going to dwell on these mountains because that's not the center. I'm trying to drive my point, and I hope we are following, right? And then just stay with me to the end. It's not going to last. We're already 14 minutes into this meeting, and then I'm going to open room for questions, but just bear with me. Let me convey the point so we can get, right? We have the mountain, I said the mountain of religion, the mountain of family. We have the mountain of media. We have the mountain of entertainment, we have the mountain of business, and then we have the mountain of government. You see, these 7 mountains, whether you like it or not, if you break whatever you are doing, it fits into one or two of these mountains, right? So if you happen to be in business, you are in the business mountain. If you happen to study theater and media art in school, that is the mountain you are in. If you happen to, maybe you want to be a medical doctor or whatever you study, you fall into one of these mountains. Now, there is a mountain that powers all these other mountains. That is a mountain called the mountain of government, the governance mountain. That means the government can come up one day because we see across different countries, there are different policies, right? There are different rules, different regulations. So a government can have its own rule that doesn't apply to some certain citizens based on their capacity, based on their influence, right? So you can imagine some governments can have some rules that doesn't affect those who are close to them or the elite, let's use that word, right? So now, for instance, the government can come and tell you that it is COVID. So because we don't want you to the virus to spread, so you have to limit the numbers of time you go to church. We've seen that happen in the past. Now, why that is good? Because the government work hand with all other mountains to ensure things happen. But then there are a lot of inequalities that happen within this mountain. So when we talk about beyond borders, there are some, you have to be critical. You have to think beyond your geographical location, think beyond whatever constraint that you may be faced with within that circumference that you are. You have to think beyond that, because it first begins with you having that thinking, like the ability to be able to question whatever the government tells you. Now, let me dwell on this other one mountain before I move to my next point, right? I'm going to talk about the mountain of economy very soon. That is the mountain of economy. But before then, let me tell you about the mountain of the media. Now, in this present dispensation, like this age we are right now, you discover that things that are not decent, things that are not like, when you hear about them in the days of old, you call those things abominations. But these things, they are the things that tends to go viral on the media. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why is it that someone will just come online and dance half naked, and then in a couple of some minutes, the video goes viral? Have you wondered what is the mystery behind these things? That is a mountain you should also look at. So there are people who make money from those platforms. There are people who make money by bringing in different ideas. So you have entertainment, you have media. These are multi-billion-dollar industries. So someone who has an idea in order to solve a problem, when you can make somebody laugh, you're solving a problem, right? So that's why when somebody is really, really funny and the person goes into the media, just give that person time. You discover that the person is going to go so famous and amount so much wealth to him or herself. That's the mountain of media. So where are you currently? Which mountain are you currently in? Now, the thing is, there is no one who just ever starts from the highest peak or the peak of it. No, this formula is the same all through history. There have never been any time when someone would just start from 100. No, there are little gadgets that give us this understanding. Your phone does, when you let's say when you buy something, whatever you do, there's always a starting point. There's always a point when it will look as though nothing is happening. But consistency, the moment you keep putting in more effort every day, you keep learning, and then you keep growing. So what you need to ask yourself now is, which mountain am I currently in? Like, what mountain am I functioning in? If you are the business type, you're keen to business. If you are the one who is very interested in academics, you are in the mountain of education. That is another powerful mountain that forever, because people are going to get, you don't give birth to children and automatically they start knowing things. No, even as an adult, when you relocate to a different location, you're going to need to learn the ethics of that place. You're going to need to learn how the bus system works, how the train system works. You're going to need to learn their culture, their ethics, because what you call fine and nice in your location, when you happen to change location, you'll be surprised that it isn't so. Like, that is different, okay? So these mountains, every one of us, we find ourselves in one or two of these mountains. So how then do I go beyond borders as far as this mountain is concerned? This mountain of influence, how then is it concerned? Now, to help us answer that question, I have bring out two contemplations. Often at times, we've heard that they used to say, generally speaking, that we have people who are rich, and then we have people who are poor. And then to serve as a consolidation, they introduce a third variety or a third term, that there are people who are the middle class, right? Or they call them the average. Now, what is the yardstick to tell that a man is rich? What is the yardstick to tell a man is rich? People will say it is money, like it's money. So you can tell a man is rich because he has money. But how much money can a man has for you to say he's rich? Because someone who has like a 2 million pounds, the person will tell you, I'm not rich, because I know there are people who have 3 million pounds, and the one who has 4 million pounds will tell you, I'm not rich, because I know there are people who have 500 million pounds, and the one who has £1 million will tell you I'm not rich because there's someone that has £3 billion, and the one who has £500 billion will tell you I'm not rich because there is always someone who has so more than others. So what is the yardstick to show that someone is rich? Now, quote me anywhere. I have done my research. I've asked questions. I've Google searched some real terms. How do you tell that someone is rich? Now, this is a question I'm going to ask towards the question and answer time. I want to hear our ideology, but this is my own ideology. You can tell a man is rich if that man is able to reproduce his source of income. Now, let me break it down. You can tell a man is rich if a man is able to reproduce the thing you've given him, or whatever thing that man is holding on to, he's able to reproduce it excellently well without defrauding, without causing tears for others, or without bringing pain to other people. Such person is able to reproduce that outcome. Then you can say a man is rich. Now, in order for you to be able to do that, you need to have the knowledge how to do it. So now, being rich and then having the knowledge to be rich, I think there's a difference. Like, one is more important than others. Okay, let me break it down by giving this analogy. I didn't intend doing this, but it just came to my mind. Now, I want to show us a bill. I think I've heard someone made an illustration with this bill before, so I want to use it to portray my point. Now, this is a £20 bill, like a £20 note, right? This is a £20 note. Now, how do I get this bill? Because if I need a laptop, I need this bill to buy the laptop. If I need food, I need this bill to buy the laptop, right? But if I need this bill, how then do I get it? Because we've seen the variable that if you need to buy something tangible, if you need to buy your phone, iPhone 14, iPhone whatever, we're going to talk about those ones in a minute, because we see people buying what they don't really need for what they want. So you want something, are you sure you really need it? There's a two difference. So this is why this meeting is important, for you to critically think about things, because we live in a world where things are happening every day. As we speak, millions are being shared across the nation. Digitally speaking, e-commerce, e-currency, things are happening, and things are happening so very fast. I think I shared a video like maybe last 2 weeks about a plane that even though it crashes in the air, the passengers won't die. You can see how fast technology is moving. So people are coming up with different ideas, solving problems. So it means that if I really need a constant flow of these, there must be something that really brings it, right? So this in itself is not important, but whatever can bring this, that's what is important. Now think about that for a minute, that the paper bill is in itself is not important. What is important is what brings the paper bill. Now, if you happen to do five, okay, most people in the UK, I don't know, yeah, but it's constant, 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, or whatever job you do, no matter the job you do, the time you put into it, that time, it's your energy. You are paying it. You are paying that energy, like you pay it. That's why they will tell you in school, if you pay attention, you're going to get the knowledge. So whether you like it or not, you are paying something. Okay, so I have a problem with people that waste their time to watch a popular Nigerian show. Now I don't hate the people, but I hate the mindset that is not really, like, I hate the mindset that is informing them. You're watching someone who is being paid, like literally being paid millions of naira, and then you're watching them. What are you gaining? You are paying. You yourself, you are paying. You pay a lot of things. You're paying a lot of things to get just entertainment. Remember the mountain of entertainment, right? Now, I have made money from Facebook. I've made money from Instagram. I've made money from Twitter. The reason why I don't even go to those platforms anymore, because my businesses doesn't really work in those areas again. So, but then how do you leverage all these? This is where your thinking faculty need to pass the border that you are. Now, someone who was born in China is probably not thinking like someone who was born in Africa. Now, I don't know, I've never been to China before, but I can tell you someone who is born in China is not thinking the way someone who is born in Africa is thinking. It's not possible because there is a geographical advantage. But now, you knowing this already puts you a step further than someone who doesn't know it. But if you know it and don't take anything about it, don't do any action about it, then it's not going to work. Like, it's really, really not going to be benefit for you, because we have a lot of people who go ahead and they learn things, but they don't practice it. They don't put it into action. It will not work. It won't work. Now, it takes a lot of energy for you to practice the things that you know. If you do not practice them, you won't know how well you know them. So people, they're like, okay, I'm good at this. I can do this. I can bake cake. Whatever you said you can do, if you do not practice it, you cannot be good at it. Now, years to come, maybe 2 years time, I'm going to be laughing at myself because there were a lot of things that I thought I could do right now that I wasn't able to do. So there were people that registered through email for this particular program. I've read about email marketing. I've paid people to even watch their video about email marketing, but I've never practiced them because I knew I'm going to use them in the future, but I've never practiced it. So I tried it for this particular conference and it failed. It literally failed because I got 19 people that registered through my website, but then most of them did not verify their email. So there was no way I could send this invitation link back to their email because there is a GDPR protection, data protection guidelines and all that they were telling me that because they did not verify the fact that they want to receive this email, the email will not be sent to them. I said, wow. So if I knew, I would have given it more time and practice it. Now, that's the idea that I want you to get from this conference, that whatever you think you're good at, if you do not practice it, you're not going to be able to produce. So I was talking about the three classes of people that we have. What then makes them, what differentiates the rich from the poor and then the average? For me personally, average is just to consolidate, to make them feel they are okay. There is no amount of money you're going to get that will make you think you're rich, because even the rich wants to get richer. And it stayed that way because they know what to do to maintain that level of their wealth. So you see a rich man having 6 million in his account in pounds. I'm not talking about even dollars. So you see a rich man having 6 million in his account, and he's reading how to expound his businesses. He's reading how to get more resources. Now it's so funny how people just think maybe it's time wasting. It's not. So the reason why these things remain so is because the people just think you grow from one particular stage and then you just suddenly bounce and you just become at the top of it. Or no, these things takes time. If all of a sudden you find yourself being a bank manager and you've never learned anything about doing it, it's going to tell in the outcome, in the result, it's going to tell. But if you've been training your mind, trying to say, okay, what does bank managers have? Okay, I'm talking about those who are maybe in the account world, because I know some people who are in the account world, like that is the mountain of influence they are in. And I know some people who are in business. Wherever you find yourself, you have to first and foremost let your mind assimilate that possibility, and then you can bring it to pass. Now, the government, remember the mountain of influence? I said the government controls all other mountains. So, for instance, as an artist, let's say a popular artist in Nigeria, let's say Davido, if you want to go to another country to perform, and that country, the government did not welcome you, no matter how good you are, you cannot go there. You could even be a man of God. You could be an imam or a blessed business person. You need the permission of that government to go there and establish your presence. So it means that the government is a very, very strong and powerful mountain. So now, among the rich, the poor, the middle class, Among those three people, who do you think the government like the most? I'll tell you, the government, any government at all, know this today and be happy. Know this today and be glad. The government in any society love those who are in the middle class. They don't like those who are poor because they're not contributing anything, but yet they wouldn't, it depends. Some government would do things to bring people from the poor class to the middle class and keep them there. The government are not happy. Like if you look at it from the critical lens, they're not happy with those who are rich. They're not happy with them because a rich man can challenge the government's rules and regulations because he has money. If you now, why can the rich man challenge the government's rule? Because, for instance, let me give an example. If let's say the US president tells Elon Musk that, hey, we don't like you, you need to close down your businesses, or if they increase his tax, for instance, all he has to do is to go to another country and buy whatever he wants to buy, right? So in that regards, the country is going to lose a lot of money. So imagine Elon Musk, Tesla, he removed all his Tesla cars and they are no longer being sold in the US or in the UK or wherever. So you discover that. So what it means is that, literally speaking, in the critical lens, the government, they are afraid of those who are in the first class, those they call the rich people, like who have established system. Remember, what made them rich is not the money they have. It is the ability to produce, to reproduce things that constantly make the inflow of the money. Okay. So now, why did I say that the government love those who are in the middle class? The middle class, and middle class, middle class. What does it even mean? Why did they have to create a middle class? It's either yes or no. It's either positive or it's negative. But of course, we have neutral. So we can say those who are in the middle class, they are the neutral people. But in the economical world, those who are in the middle class, the government love them. Who are they? They are the ones that buy things without plan. They don't have they don't have a budget, but they spend beyond what they want. You see them buying the things they don't really need. They buy the things they don't really want. They are the ones that keep spending. So as they spend, the more they spend and buy things they don't need, so they pay VAT, they pay taxes, they keep buying things they don't need. So how can a man go and buy the latest car just to please the society? That's not right thinking. Someone made the car. So the one who makes the car, have you wondered if they even have time to drive their own car? They are busy critically thinking, how can we make more things for these people? Now, I know that we are all coming from different locations and we're coming from different places, but your mindset, your ability for you to think differently, this is what differentiates you. Even though you may not have the resources to bring you up to the rich class, but your mind becomes your powerhouse where you can think like the rich is thinking. Have you read the book that said think and grow rich? So now that is one recommendation I would love to give you. If you haven't read it, you should go read it. Think and grow rich. Powerful book. So now, what is the essence of it? Like, how then do government, why do they really love those who are in the middle class, in quotes? They love those who are in the middle class because they keep spending, keep buying things, keep doing the things. They don't really care. They don't really ask questions. For instance, they don't have media literacy. So the government can publish something. Imagine if a news just goes around now and say, if you, whatever you are holding, if the news goes and say, if you are holding gold, you should immediately go and sell it. And imagine, people will just say, oh, I have, let me go and sell it. So without being able to critically ask themselves, where is this news coming from? Is this news really? Because every news that comes has an agenda. Some people will be happy and some people won't be happy. Every day, transactions are being done. People are getting paid while some are losing money. People are buying things they don't need and they discover, I didn't need this thing. I would have been able to use the money or the resources for something different, but because they lack that ability to critically analyze things, so critically look into things. Why are they like this? Why is the government, or what's the government hiding? Why are they trying to keep us to just being in the middle class? But when you are able to think beyond that particular constraint or beyond that particular border, you are able to think and to reason the whole thing, you will discover that life is going to be very easy. And that's what separates those who are in the middle class from those who are poor. So the poor, they're the ones that run after, what can the government do? Oh, let the government do this for me. Let the government do this to me. I want the government to be able to give me what I want. I want the government to be able to give me good health, give me good education, give me all the necessary things. That is those who are in the poor class, those who are in the poor class, like the poor class, those who are poor. But those who are in the middle class, remember I said before that they keep spending. They spend what they don't want, what they don't even need. They spend their hard-earned money to buy the things they don't need. And then before you know what's happening, because no budgeting, no planning, nothing specific about the future, just the now and days ahead. That's what they do think about. So things doesn't really work. And those are the people that the government like. The government wanted to keep buying because, yeah, when you buy, you pay the tax, you pay the VAT, you don't even want to care, you don't even want to know. So you're not even a media literate person. So any news that comes, if it favors you, you are happy. If it doesn't favor you, you're like, you're not happy, but you don't even want to know why is it so. Why is it so? So that is what differentiates those who are those they give them the term first class, middle class, and those who are they call them the poor class. Those who are poor. Sadly speaking, it is true. So the poor doesn't really have the media literacy. They take everything, everything. When you tell them they lose money, they lose a lot of money. The poor lose money because when you tell them, oh, this is a running business, because they want everything done fast and swift and quick, they jump into it and then it doesn't work. Oh, and then they're heartbroken. They're like, okay, I have to look for and I have to wait for another way. But those who have the mindset, remember your mind first before you get there. So your mind first before you get there. So when you are able to think about it, whether you like it or not, there are some stimuli, there are some things that will empower you to go and develop yourself to be able to maintain it when you get to that position. All right. So because of our time, I'm going to stop like 10 minutes before 8 p.m. so we can have our time to ask questions. Now, what are the tools needed to be able to decipher this economy? Now, for those of us who are just joining, a quick recap. I said that there are 7 mountains. Many of us may have read about it before, may have seen it before. There are 7 mountains in the world. So whether you like it or not, you fall within one of these mountains. So check whatever you're doing, whether you are in the media, entertainment, education, the religion, whatever field you find yourself, you fall within one of these mountains. And I did say that the mountain of government, that is what controls every other mountain. The mountain of government talks about also the economy, because they control the economy. The government can bring in one rules, one regulations that can hinder a businessman. But for those who are rich, like I said before, rules and regulations doesn't really, because the government are afraid of those who are extremely rich. And remember, I've also explained when you say someone is rich, I've explained what it really means. Because the true wealth is having the power to get that paper bill. But if all you have is that paper bill, whether you like it or not, you're not truly rich. You may have money, like they say, but true wealth is having the idea, the possibility, the power, the empowerment to produce that outcome that you desire. All right. So the tools needed to decipher the economy. How do I position myself such that, for example, now we have done some businesses online, and where I was because of I'm in the UK, so I have limitations for the past 1 year. I haven't really deployed my business should I use prowess into the internet space, right? But I've been making money online. And now there were limitations because while I was in Nigeria, it was difficult to establish payment with paper. Like there is that limitation. Have you ever asked yourself, why is there limitation? So for instance, the paper company, you can actually pay someone in the US, but for someone in the US to pay you in Africa, it's not working. Don't you see that there is a problem there? Why would I comfortably use the paper company to pay somebody in the US? Maybe the person delivers lectures or an online coaching, or I want to learn something, and I'm able to pay, and then that is settled. But now I'm offering something that someone in the US needs, and then paper is telling me that I can't accept money, but I can only pay. That is a problem. So how do you configure yourself? What I'm trying to point out is that the economy, you have to be able to configure yourself such that you'll be able to decipher. Number one, the tools needed is number one, you have to amass adequate, precise knowledge in your area of interest. Everything boils down to you knowing, like being excellent. If you say you know something, if you say you know, because whatever you're doing right now, people have done it before. Think about it. So someone, if you do something absolutely new that no one has done before, and it's absolutely and tremendously useful, you're going to be rich. But if you want to do something that other people are doing before, you absolutely know how to do, you need to know how to do it 100% without error to be rich. Now take your time and think about it. Take your time and think about it. Now, if you do something new, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg, 2009, 2009, or if I'm not mistaken, he did something new. He was able to build a system that we call Facebook to connect the whole world together. And over time, when Facebook started, you loved it. You were thinking that was the best. But if you log in now, you see that a lot of features has been done. What it means is that there's a room for development. Now, 1 year from now, this meeting that we are all just 9 people, believe me, it's not going to be 9 anymore, because I'm constantly going to develop. How do I make it more better? How do I make it very easy and increase the efficiency? How do I do that? This is where your acquisition of knowledge becomes very paramount. It becomes very important that on constant basis, I said, acquire knowledge in your area of interest. So whatever you want to be, if you bring your academics into it, you bring your, whatever you bring, whatever area, so long there are people already in it, whether or not there are people already in it, all you have to do is amass so much great knowledge about it that you become a master. It is called the law of mastery. You so much master it that you become so good that you are not easily ignored. You can't be easily ignored if you are the best. In that company, you can't be easily ignored. Now, I've seen people who don't really know how to network. And then I'll tell you that in a minute. The power of networking, that your ability to see someone and then establish a relationship with that person for the purpose of helping that person. In return, that person knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, someone that knows someone who also knows someone who is related to someone who owns something that you may be looking for now or tomorrow. So people don't value people. You see people, this is because of the geographical location, because of the geographical constraint. Remember I said before that someone who was born in the US or China, those places where they are born into technology. Day 2, they are started operating technology. Compare that person to someone who is born into an economy that is already -10. So you struggle. You see the reason why knowledge is very important. Even though you are born into an environment or a condition or whatever it is, forget it. You just need to, you need knowledge in the first place to leave -1 and come to maybe 0.1 or 0.0. But the moment you keep acquiring that knowledge. So you aren't good in the field you are. You are good in whatever you're doing. Even though remember when you start, it's not going to be excellent or very, very pleasant to see. No, there is room for improvement. When Zoom app, this app we're using right now for this meeting, when they first launched it, there were features that wasn't here. But as time went on, they keep adding. That is what people always forget. They forget that adding. So you add. How often do I add? Add every day. So I said before, you see someone that have 7 billion pounds is reading a book. Someone that has 2 million pounds is reading a book. But someone that have like 1,000 pounds is comfortable, is happy. No, I'm not saying you should be sad, but I'm saying you should be, should I say angry? I'm not saying you should be like angry. No, life is too short to be angry, but be eager to say, no, I can't be in this. I can't be constrained by these borders. No, these borders, I have to break loose. I have to break loose from it. I have to leave this constraint. And then, okay, time is going. I said, go for knowledge. Go for knowledge. Now, this second point specifically directed. Now, knowledge these days, it's beyond you sitting in classroom over and over again. I even heard it yesterday, over and over again. I heard it yesterday from a lecturer. He said, knowledge, they cannot teach you everything. No, they can't teach you everything. Let that sink into your head and let it enter your head and never leave. That you cannot learn everything from someone. Just like the Holy Book said, it's brick upon bricks. So when you gather an idea here, go and see how you can develop it. That is how the word works. That is how it works. So don't wait that you're going to see someone that's going to put everything. And remember, when you start newly, it will look as though it doesn't count. It will look as though it's not even making sense. But the fortitude to keep going, to keep pushing on, that is what makes a difference. That's what's going to tell if you're going to be successful or not. So someone said something one day. He said he can actually look at someone and tell if this person will be successful or not. I was paying attention. I was listening. How can you look at a man and tell if he'll be successful or not? What's the measure? How do you measure that? He said, I can look at what the man is doing and tell what the outcome will be. And if you look at it in a wider sense, that has some element of truth. But then there are many other components you have to put together. So a man who is consistent in that little thing, in as much as that thing is valuable, if that person is consistent in it and amass so much knowledge and build on it over time, that is going to be great. It's going to be successful, right? So specifically speaking, the first two, to decipher the economy, to be able to stand out. It doesn't matter your location, it's knowledge. Whether you like it or not, when you relocate to any country, you still need knowledge to survive in that country. When you move to, the US is great, Canada is awesome, UK is great, wherever you move to, you still need knowledge. So knowledge is a yardstick you shouldn't play with. It's something that you just have to constantly develop. So what don't I know about this thing? Go to Google. Find out those sites. Stop wasting time doing what doesn't pay you. Why would you waste 2 hours? If you invest 2 hours watching a video about how to do something, that's awesome. I encourage you to continue. But if you watch 2 hours and all through those 2 hours, you were laughing, you weren't learning anything, then you shouldn't be in this meeting. You should be angry and then go back. And because time is going, imagine you are behind because your mates in China, they are the ones building your laptops. Your mates your mates in Dubai, in those places, they are doing things when we are the same human beings. Are you not angry of the situation you found yourself? You didn't create yourself. So thank God you are in a dispensation where all you have to do is pick up your phone. Everyone here in this call has a phone. So in particularly for our brethren who are the so-called third world, why would they label us the third world? Why is it that things are not working there? No. It is difficult for you to be able to to influence your surrounding if the system doesn't work for you. It is difficult. So in that regard, you don't have anyone to blame. So some people message me and say, I don't have data to join this call. And I don't even know what to say, because I can give you money. If you don't know how to sustain the money, you're going to come tomorrow again. And that's what brings anger between people. So they keep receiving money and they don't know how to develop it. They don't know how to. You heard about something, you have interest in data analysis, whatever thing you just have interest in, even media. Many of you here, you are funny, you can make people laugh. What stop you from starting your own media company? What stop you? There are so many companies that started from their homes. They started just like two friends. They came together and think, and then they're like, how can we solve this problem? How can we make this thing more better? That is how you should think. So everyone has this power, this ability. Like, you just have to think within the box. Now, I solved a problem for someone recently. She's a lady who's in Abuja. I said, you can't be in Abuja in Nigeria and you're broke. First and foremost, she doesn't have a laptop. I said, good, let's help you get a laptop. Do you have a plan? How many months do you think you can get a laptop? She said she can get a laptop within 3 months. I said, Jesus, no. In fact, it's even worse that you are a child of God. How can you use 3 months to get a laptop? What is it? Is God poor? How can you use 3 months to get a laptop? I said, don't worry, this laptop, you're going to get it within 2 weeks. She was saying, she was laughing. She said, it's not possible. I said, make a list of all your friends that you can go and tell them, see, I'm serious about my life right now. Okay, I want to get a laptop. I have this amount. How much can you add? She said, okay. She made a list and there were 4 people. I said, good, talk to them. After like 3 days, she came back and said, okay, I was able to raise 20,000. I said, good. Few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, no money for laptop, but after 2 weeks, you're able to raise 20,000. Don't you see you're making progress? You did something. You took an action by simply looking at the contact list. I gave her a next idea. I said, which church do you attend? She mentioned the church. I said, awesome. Go and meet your pastor and then tell your pastor, sir, I'm serious about my life right now. I want to learn so and so. I need a laptop. I have 20,000. What can you do about this? She did as I said. When she got to meet the pastor told her, oh, I have a laptop I'm not using. Let me give you. That was how she was able to get the laptop. So the laptop has always been there. And she has been folding hands. She didn't do anything. There are many of us who may be in this call. You have an idea about something. Look for someone. There must be someone. God has given you. Your environment has blinded your eyes. So you are not seeing those God has given you, God has blessed you with. Look for those people. Look for them and say, sir, you need to help my life. Like, I'm serious about life right now. How do I do? Many of them, like 98% of them, are going to discourage you. They're going to discourage you. But all you have to do, summon up the courage. You have to. So when you find yourself in a situation, for example, in your location now, could there be any voluntary work you can go and do to gain experience? Now, I was doing a voluntary work for an organization, and over time, they liked the way I was doing it because I did it with all my heart to learn it. And then they're inviting me to now hold a position in their company, like a new staff, right? How did it happen? See, the system cannot just be closed, but remember, you have to first and foremost get the knowledge. If you don't have it, go buy it. Spend night watching the videos. Don't let sleep kill you or destroy your destiny. Don't let things that don't add value to your life destroy your life. Come on. My time is fast spent, so I said go for knowledge. Now, specifically for those who are in Nigeria who just have only phone, you need a laptop. These are gadgets that those who are born in the first world, they play with it like water. How can you be 18? You don't have a laptop. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. How are you surviving it? Okay, I understand. Things aren't working. The money isn't there. Fine. But think about how those who are making the money, okay, those who are making the money genuinely, how are they doing it? That's the first question you should ask. Is there any rich man in my neighborhood? Is there anybody that can, okay, if you are in the academic world, fine, you are going to school. Can I do something in addition to this thing that I'm doing? Okay, can I start something online? This thing they call digital marketing, this thing they call marketing, whatever, media, whatever. What can I do something about it? You sit down, look at someone, it is called, it's not copy and paste, no, but it's something unique. It's called modeling. It's not a crime to model someone. If you check my website, I built that website in 15 minutes. I built it in 15 minutes by simply modeling. I didn't read computer science in school, but over time, I built it in 15 minutes because of modeling. So modeling gives you an idea of what you're looking for. And so as you're building, you're looking at it, and then you can even do far more better, but then you model. You model. I'm not saying copy and paste words for words. No, it's plagiarism. Don't plagiarize. All right. So copy and paste, no, but model. When you model and then you can produce. What I'm saying is that you have to get beyond the borders. Get beyond the borders. So many of us who are in Nigeria, I know many of us are in this call. We don't have a laptop. Ask yourself, how do I get it? Make a list. If you have a friend, you want to do something tangible, something real, and he doesn't have that fortitude to support you, then you should be changing your friends. You should be changing your friends. I'm not angry when people ask for money or they ask for financial support, but the problem is when you give them, there is a high chance of them coming back to come and ask for the same thing. So what I do, and I do it sincerely, is better to give you the money, like the one you asked me for, that wouldn't be a burden to me, right? So when I give you that, I will teach you, at least give you something that will energize you, right? That will energize you. So get a laptop so you can connect to the internet. Stop complaining about data. There is free night plan. Go and look for it. Learn the things you want to do. They also say burn the midnight candle. Do all those things. Do your due diligence. Don't be saying, it's the country, oh, there's no light, oh, there's no this one, no. Good, very good. It's going to take time for you to get better. But you have to help yourself, help yourself. Don't remember, the poor are like, oh, what can the government do? Remember that thinking differently remove you from the poor class and put you in the middle class. But the government wants you to remain in the middle class. So you have to think like the rich to leave that middle class. And remember, to leave the middle class, it's your mind that first leave the middle class before your body will join you. So your mind will first leave the middle class. Don't think like those who are in the middle class. The middle class think spend, they always spend. But those who are rich, they think invest. Elon Musk is still investing. He was trying to buy Twitter the other day, right? Okay. Those presidents, they are investing. You understand what I'm talking about? So you do that. You don't just say, okay, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So the mind is the first thing you need to leave the middle class. The mind. So think differently. It doesn't matter. You could be like the apostle we always say, you could be in one room, read the books. You shall God blessed us with the memory to read or the power to read. So it's worse if you have the mind to read and you can't read. It's worse. The rich man is still reading. Why can't you read? Watch videos. Oh, audio books. Buy them. Have you spent money this year? Okay, I paid $500 early this year to join a mentorship class, and I learned. And someone is saying, why would you spend $500 to just go and buy somebody's? Okay, go for knowledge. Go for knowledge. If it takes you, even the Holy Book said this now, buy the truth. Buy it. Okay, buy it. Buy it. So pursue excellence. See, those of us in Nigeria, forget that thing they are saying that school is a scam. It's a lie. It's a deliverance. Education is a deliverance. If you know something, it's a deliverance. So forget that thing. Do your best. Do your best to be able to graduate with first class. If you couldn't get first class, at least get a second class. But okay, things went so bad, you could not concentrate. Okay, get a 2-1. But please don't come out. Those of you who are still doing the BSc, don't come out with third class. Come on now. Come on. Don't be. How can you get third class and you are in the third class economically? It doesn't work that way now. It's bad. Okay. Time has gone. This is 8 p.m. Okay. Last point. I said network and then make quality friends. Friends that can, if you check through all your lists and you don't have a friend who you can call in time of need, that can, even though he doesn't have the money, he can show interest to want to help you, or he can even go his way to look for someone who can help you, or he can give you valuable advice. That's a friend indeed. So keep that friend. Keep that friend. And anyone who is not adding to you, anyone who is not supporting you, you don't have to keep that friend. No, it means you are not going the same way. It's called friendship, the same ship, but you are not in the same ship. So you have to leave that friend. Leave that friend. So remember, the motto for such conference is all about critical thinking. Everything I've said, think about it. If you just fold your arms and say it's one of those normal meetings, this is not a normal meeting. It's not a normal meeting. It's a meeting where you have to come and get value. It's a meeting where your mind has to be open and say, this thing, I need to decipher this thing. If they remember, I think there was, okay, the guy is not here. He contacted me. He wanted to buy a domain. And then they say the whole of Nigeria, all you can spend internationally is $20 in your Nigerian card. What? 20? So that limitation is there, but you have to break through it. You have to break through it. How can there be a limitation concerning how you can spend your money? He wants to buy a domain. He owns an e-commerce website. So he wanted to renew the domain. And then there's a limitation placed. But imagine if you place limitation on Amazon. Okay, now let's say there's a country that bans Amazon and say, Amazon, you no longer say in this country. They have other countries. So if every other country bans Amazon, the citizens, they will react. They will react because they use Amazon product. Like, not necessarily Amazon product, but they purchase on Amazon every now and then. So they need Amazon to always work. So for those people, they're going to react. So the government will like, okay, this people really need Amazon. Let's give them Amazon. But the one who owns Amazon will just. So imagine that kind of influence. He has amassed so much influence that he doesn't even need you to do anything again. If you like, get angry, you're still going to one day order something from Amazon. If you say, okay, let me go and order for another company, you'll be surprised that it's owned by the same Amazon. So people creating different companies with different brands. All right. That's the end of Social Conference. The last final words is that you have to think. Remember, pursue excellence and all will be well. So that's it. I want to appreciate everyone that joined this call. I had difficulty sending emails to remind some people who may have registered through email. So that is the end of this meeting. So if you please have a question, something you want to talk about, and I did ask a question before, you want to share an idea, something you think that is worth sharing on this call, please feel free to do that. We'll just have a few more minutes before we call it a day. So any question from all of us? Thank you for coming, Royalty. Eso here, thank you for coming. Samuel, thank you. Mr. Frank, thank you so much. Happy to see you. Precious, thank you. Tony, thank you. Solomon, thank you. I don't know if it's Mrs. or Mr. Biko, but thank you. Mary, thank you. Your network has been giving you a problem. So please, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and I'm going to, okay, you can raise your hand or just unmute yourself and then come out and say one or two things. Any question, or you could type it in the chat box if you have any question you want to ask. Any question? Are there any questions? Anyone who want to ask a question? You want to say something? Wow, why is the room so quiet? We have 10 people, including myself. That's 11. Why is the room quiet? Or is there any issue with the audio? Is there any question? Is there anyone that has any question? You want to ask any question? You want to say something about this such conference Beyond Border? Okay, Mary, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask a question or say what you want to say. Mary, go ahead, unmute yourself and then ask the question you want to ask. Okay, are all these connecting? Mary, you can go ahead and we can hear you. Or you can type it in the chat box. If you're having issues with your network, you can type it. Okay, someone has asked a question in the chat box. Please, how can we break the issue of limitation on CBN ban in Nigeria? Okay, okay. Now we are aware that CBN has banned some transactions, but now you can see how the mountain the mountain of governance is bringing that limitation, right? So it's terrible because we know people, there are people who genuinely their business runs. Now, that bound, really, if you look at it, it's not to everyone. It's not to everyone because government do business on daily basis, international business. They are international Mugu people. Okay, imagine Dangote that does business internationally. Do you think there's a ban on him? No. So now the direct answer to your question is to number one, first thing, your mind need to leave that geographical location and then prepare ahead and your body will follow you. Because for the now, we just pray for another government to come and reset the regulations, right? Yeah, because I've done a lot of payment this week for people. People who want to pay school fees and all, maybe more than £7,000. So imagine if I were in Nigeria, that wouldn't be possible. Most of the people they even contact me from Nigeria to do that for them. So why would there be a limitation? So if I were in that geographical location, it wouldn't have been possible. So the answer to royalties question is that you have to first and foremost let your mind leave that location and wait for the government to reset their economical regulation, right? So when you do that, then but for the now, you just have to let your mind live there because that limitation that is being placed by the Central Bank of Nigeria is not to all citizens. So it's just only affecting those who may be in the third class or the middle class, or those who may even be in the first class, but they are not there yet, but their mind is aspiring to get there, right? Yeah. So you can make use of any other sources that may be complementary, but for the now, that's what it is. Okay. I think there is another one that says, what are some of the skills you can recommend one to actually do for one to be relevant? Okay. Now, the skills. Number one, if you really want to learn a skill on the internet, there is so much available resources. The first thing, it's difficult for you to really want to learn on your phone. Number one, if you want to learn on your phone, you're going to have some distractions. So imagine I'm learning something on my phone and someone is texting me on WhatsApp and there are different things coming up. You're going to be distracted. So get a laptop. Get a laptop. Like, I'm so passionate about it. If you don't know how to get a laptop, send me a DM. I'm going to help you get a laptop. Like, we'll come up with a plan, like a plan to get a laptop. Very, very important. Everyone needs a laptop. Those who are in the UK, in any other country, you shall have a laptop. A student came in recently and I was like, where's the laptop? She said, do I need a laptop? I said, Jesus Christ, how can you come to the UK without a laptop? What? So she was able to get a laptop by the next day because you discovered that you're going to go to class, you're going to need a laptop. So, okay. So now you need a laptop. So after you've gotten a laptop, then you can learn a whole lot of things. It all depends on your interest. The thing about IT, you don't need to even go and study computer science for you to enter the IT space. The IT, they value experience, like you can really do it more than the certificate. That is true. So if you can come and tell me, if you can come and answer Java programming questions, why won't I employ you as a developer? Because you can do it, you've explored it, you've done the things, like you can literally do it, and you have a portfolio. You go on GitHub or on LinkedIn, your profile, the things you've done are there. You're already in the market. So it depends on your interest. So you think about something you are fascinated about. So when you use Facebook, when you use any of those media platforms, when somebody does something, is your heart drawn to it? If your heart is drawn to it, go ahead. So I've been blogging since 2013, and I got money from it. If I don't get money from it, I will not do it. I've done some other things that money didn't come out. I left it alone. I left it alone. I will leave it alone. But if money comes from it, then I knew there's a potential there, right? But if really you want to learn something online, one of the digital skills, there are so many. Go to where your interest is drawn for, okay? So the actual skills, go to where, so if you see something someone has done, be it digital marketing, be it email marketing or whatever, UX design, all those digital software developer, software testing, Yeah, it doesn't have to always be coding. You can do software testing, data analysis, whatever, data scientist, whatever you want to do. Just remember I was telling a story about a lady that I helped to get a laptop. I told her, what do you want to learn? She said data analysis. Okay, I said, what is that? What is data analysis? She said, data analysis. And I know data. I know. Go and check Google. Go and check YouTube. Check on Udemy. Buy the courses. There are free courses. Google has free courses. LinkedIn. Hey, LinkedIn has a lot of free courses on programming, MySQL, Java programming, Python programming. Learn the basics. Learn how this thing works. Go follow your interests. Learn international marketing relation. Learn those things. Hey, learn it. Whatever. It's all based on your interest. But remember, don't do too many things at the time. If you do too many at the time, you are just facing, or you're going to get distracted. The brain is so wired in such a way that when you chase after your interests in that direction, you're going to achieve that, right? The next question says, another meeting teaching us more. Okay, digital marketing. If we can do another meeting talking about digital marketing, okay, we're going to see to that. Now, the way such conference is designed is on subsequent times, I may not necessarily call for a meeting. I could just record it on my own and then post the link. But then, before now, if you have interest of digital marketing, it doesn't mean I have to be the one. If you come to my inbox and say, what is this? I'm happy to help, like based on my time. Many of you know that, okay, I was very busy lately, okay, and I need to take time to reply. It's not intentional. You know it's not intentional. I love helping people. I help people for a living. All right. So digital marketing. Go on YouTube for the now. Like as we talk right now, someone asked that question right now. If that's your interest, after this call, go and check it out. Okay, introduction to digital marketing. What is it really about? Let me just learn the basics. So okay, now how there are lots of those information on YouTube. Lots of them on YouTube. See, remember, you don't just grab one information and think that's it. Or no, you grab it's bricks upon bricks, right? Bricks upon bricks, and that's how the whole mountain or the whole thing is being built, right? Okay, our time is really gone, and I have to call it a day. The last one says, okay, the last one says, have been on UI UX design training. Please, do you have any tool or okay, Figma. Have you heard of Figma? Depends on ask that question. Figma. Have you heard of Figma? Okay, and so I think royalty. What you're gonna do? Text me on WhatsApp. I'm gonna send you some resources that will help you on that UI and UX. That's very, very important. User experience and user interface. Very, very important because these are skills. Yeah, Google runs free digital marketing classes too. So go and find it. Thank you, Oga Solomon. Google runs free digital marketing too. Go and find it. Go find it. Burn the midnight candle. This time around, you're burning your midnight battery. Okay. Burn your midnight battery and the midnight data. Do free data. Don't come and say, there's no data. You are already in a disadvantaged location. So forget about all those things. Do whatever you need to do. They are free data. Use it. Use it. Subscribe freely and use it. Okay. So thank you everyone for coming. Really appreciate your time. And I think that's all for the now. I really appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. Those of us that came on time, those of us that came middle of the way. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Bye.